So my team's going to get mad at me. My coaches are going to get mad at me. I've been getting asked literally for the last 6 months, how do you run your Facebook group? Why is your Facebook group so successful? I've never seen another Facebook group get 92% engagement. I've never seen a group with 2,100 people generate 7 figures in revenue while also getting 2,000 comments on a post. That's like everybody commenting, how do you do it? And finally, a few people twisted my arm and I decided to share it in this episode. So I'm going to shut up now so you can get into it. But I map out literally every single thing that I do and you need to do to build the most successful Facebook group or any other community on any platform that you want in this episode. So now it's time to cue the intro. I'll see you guys in the episode. And welcome back to another episode of the Mind of George Show. I'm really amped up and really full of energy because I've been cleaning. I actually just got back. I was on the road and it felt so amazing to be on the road. I got to go to north of LA, I got to go to St. Louis, and I got to go spend time with a few amazing human beings that brought me in for a day and a half to help them absolutely build the strongest foundation they could ever have in their business, rocket ship them and propel them. And we worked one-on-one for basically 12 hours and accomplished about a year's worth of work. And I'm excited to watch both of these human beings take over the internet. And I will reference this podcast in a year from now and be like, I told you they were famous. I told you they did that. I told you they had that impact. So I'm super stoked and fired up about that. It's my favorite thing in the world is working with people and really creating containers and giving my intention to helping everybody achieve their goals with their heart in the middle of all of it. And so today, in that, we're going to talk about how your Facebook group is a container. And before we get there, I want you to know why I'm so excited. I have been cleaning. There's a dumpster in my front yard. So if you haven't heard on the podcast or anything else, my family and I are moving to Montana. And I am so excited. I'm so excited to have more nature and more cold and more trees and more lakes and more space. And I've been doing this deep, deep, deep work on myself for a long time. And by calling it deep, I'm not as deep as I want to be yet, but it's how I reference it. And I literally am clearing out every materialistic thing that I have outside of literally my clothing, my gym equipment, and my computer and my office stuff. And I am committed to creating as much space as possible to fill it with relationships. And one of the things I love is my business. One of the things I love is you listening to this podcast, being on live videos with me, creating content, doing live events, being in my mastermind. Like literally it lights me up every day. It fuels me. It's my purpose. And I realize that everything I've quote unquote had or chased in my life has just been a distraction from that purpose. And so literally everything's going. I'm selling my car, which was my dream for 22 years, and I don't need it anymore. I don't even want it. I'm ready to drive like a beat-up truck in the mountains, and I want land. I want nature. I'm going to build an event space. I'm saying this publicly for the first time. I want to build an event space on a property so you can come visit and we can do marketing events or business events or mastermind events all on my property where I own all of it. I will have the place for the food, organic and farm to table. We will be able to go out in nature and do breath work and walk and appreciate. We'll have an ice bath for all you people that want to jump in with me, but it's all about space and intention. So I'm excited and I'm fired up. And that's why I have all this energy, and it's so perfect about today's topic. Now, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, if you're listening to this when this was released. And one of the things that I want everybody to be grateful for is the fact that we get to do this every day, that we get to give our gift away, that we get to build our version of ourselves or somebody who has accomplished something or made a product that helped us accomplish something and give it away to the world. And we get to be grateful for that. And in that, though, we also have to ensure that we are leading people, that we are guiding them, that we are their lighthouse in a dark storm, that we are that constant and consistent light that shows up every day as they are taking their journey into us. And so in the last month, there's been one question I've been asked more than any other question, and it's always the same. How do you have so much engagement in your Facebook group? What are you doing? Nobody's Facebook group looks like this. How do you have 90% engagement? How do you have a group of 2,100 people and you have some posts with 2,000 comments on them? And I've been teetering on this and figuring out the best way to answer this question without being esoteric. And so I share this with my mastermind students, which if you're not in, you need to get your booty in. And my private clients, and I'm going to share it with you to gauge interest on this and to really give you this. Now, the one thing I want you to remember about a Facebook group, you hear me talk a lot about assets, okay? Your website, if it's on your platform and you own the traffic, like on WordPress or something, is an asset. Your email list is an asset. If you build a list of phone numbers to text, that's an asset. If you build a group on Facebook, you are borrowing an asset. It's a liability. It's the difference between owning a home and renting a home. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the first thing I want you to remember is that in order to be effective in business or build a community wherever you build it, you have to understand what you're building. And so with a Facebook group, I want you to understand that you are leasing land. You are using somebody else's home to create a container for your people, okay? And so a Facebook group is leased land. It's rented land. And so one of the things that I always say is that's a rented piece of property or a rented piece of land in somebody else's building to create a container for people to fall in love with you or accomplish their goal to eventually want to come live in your building. And so that's how I see it. I see my email list, my phone list, my website as my home. But it's not always the easiest thing to get somebody to go from where they are on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever to then come to my home. And so instead, I will go rent property. I will go rent property on these other platforms to build a tight container to allow people to take their journey and then naturally filter themselves into my world when they want to come closer, or out of my world if I am just not their flavor. And you know I am not everybody's flavor. So the one biggest mistake that I see people make with Facebook groups is they treat the Facebook group like that was the destination. Like, I got them into my group. I got them into my group. That's not how it works. I watch so many people focus so hard on getting people into the group, and then they do nothing with it. And it's like literally throwing somebody into a blank room and then never communicating them. Just like it's like getting somebody to sign up for an email list and never emailing them. What was the point of getting their email in the first place? What's the point of getting somebody into a Facebook group? So I want you to think about this, because you cannot take somebody on a journey unless you have designed the journey. But the worst thing that can happen is you get attention, you get excitement, and then you give them a letdown. And so if you get somebody amped up and you promise them they're going to come into the group and this is where they're going to get into the group, and then you expect that they join a group, you approve them, and then they're going to do it on their own, you've created a letdown. Your job is to lead people. Your job is to help people, whether it's leading them through a group, through your social media, through a lead magnet, through a product, to help them get the results so they can fall in love with you, so that they can associate success with you, so that they can have multiple touch points with you, make them feel safe and seen and heard and valued, which is what gives them the endowment to let go of everybody else and then create space in their life to work with you. And your group is no different. So in order for your Facebook group to be effective, you have to have a journey designed before they get there. And so the question you should ask yourself is, when somebody joins my Facebook group, what are they going to receive, or what is it going to look like for the next 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days? Where are they going to go from there? The Facebook group is not the destination. The Facebook group is the container to get them to the destination. And so know where they're going. And when you think about this, you have to know. So you know somebody's going to see an ad. They're going to see you on a podcast or see you on a video or hear you on a podcast. You can tell them to go into your Facebook group. But you have to tell them what you do and what you offer. And then you have these people request your Facebook group. And then you're going to ask them questions. Ask them questions that are intentional. And then you're going to welcome them into the group. But when you welcome them into the group, then what? Don't just welcome them into the group. You have their attention. They want to be there. Give them something. And so when you think about this customer journey, there are only two ways to design this customer journey. And I'm going to give this to you as a gift. I am giving this away to you right now. You can either design a journey that's based on duration, which is a amount of time, or direction, which would be following these steps or this protocol or this thing until the goal has been accomplished. And so your job in marketing, your job in business is to be a leader. And leadership is putting somebody into your world on your terms to get the best results, not allowing them into your world on their terms to distract them from the results. So let me say this again. Your job as a leader, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as anybody, and this applies to your relationships too, but this is in business, and particularly in a Facebook group. Your job is to put somebody into your world on your terms to get the best results, not allowing them into your world on their terms to distract from the results. And so you must design this journey. So ask yourself, if I'm filling this Facebook group with all of my potential or my best customers, what are all the things that I can give them? What are the things that they would need to be successful? What does the container look like for them to win? What journey would be designed? Do I need to teach them a principle, a paradigm, a 3-step process, or do I need to get them into momentum for 7 days or 14 days? And you have to ask yourself, is this going to be a duration or a direction? And so before you even put people into the group, you have to ask yourself, when they're coming into the group, treat it like a lead magnet. Treat it like an email exchange. Treat it like somebody walked up to you into your business and said, I want your help. Tell me one thing to do today, and then another thing to do tomorrow, and another thing to do the next day, and then figure out how to design that journey in your welcome post with resources that you have, with an intentional journey designed to create a tight container. Nobody has ever walked into a gym and said, hey, I want to hire you trainer, and the trainer's like, okay, go figure it out. Doesn't work like that. The trainer has to have the plan. You have to have the plan. You have to make the plan before they come in so you can deliver the results. So design a path for them to become your customers. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group yet, go. It's called Relationships Beat Algorithms. If you have, you've seen that I've always done it the same. I have 3 really important concepts that I think every business owner and every entrepreneur can benefit from. So for the past couple of years, it has all been the same. You join my Facebook group and I ask you a couple questions. Are you committed to your success? Are you going to play by the rules? Are you going to be nice? You say yes. And then as soon as you join, I record a video personally welcoming you into the group. I tell you why the group exists. I tell you my commitment to you. I tell you what I expect out of you. I tell you that I can't do the work for you, only you can, and we are here in your corner. I tell you that consistency is going to be your biggest gift and not intensity. And so as you're watching this video, the first thing I need you to do is leave a comment telling me why you're here and what you do so we can support you. And then once you're done with that comment, go do this. And then that was going to a video 1. And then in that video, I had a description that said, when you were done watching this video, go watch video 2. And then when you're done with video 2, go watch video 3. And I was very intentional about it, making sure that you watched it and you watched it and you watched it. And then each one of those videos had something for you to put into practice in your business. And then at the end of video 3, I set expectations. And I said, listen, now that you are here and now that you're fully indoctrinated, this is how to get the best out of this group. Turn on notifications, put it in your calendar, come 5 minutes a day, because here is what you can expect from me. I'm going to be going live once a week. I'm going to be doing 3 posts a week. I'm going to have a Q&A thread on Friday. Design what it would look like to create the container to lead them in your world on your terms to deliver the best results, and then allow them to fill it in. And then you set this expectation and you show up and deliver this expectation. And then you give value within your group and give them a reason to be there. Is it accountability? Is it connection? Is it wisdom? Is it guidance? Is it whatever you decide it to be? But it's your group. It's your world. You have to build it. There is no accidental success in a group. There is no my customers figured out what it was. You stake your claim and say you're going to help somebody. Well, you build the journey that helps them. And so you have to design this. What are you doing for people before they come into your group? What does it look like when they get into your group? Where are you taking them? What are you giving them? How are you helping them? I get really fired up in this because a day of planning will create 10 years of results. A day of planning will create 10 years of results. If you do not plan, you will have no results. If you use your group as a catch-all in a bucket with no intention, you will lose that game every single time. So ask yourself these questions. What does the journey look like? What am I helping them achieve? What do I want to give them? How do I want to guide them? What do I want them to feel? If I understand that every buying decision is emotional, how do I want them to feel? Do I want them to feel like they have a coach in their corner? And if this is how it feels when it's free, can you imagine what it feels like when it's paid? It's a good thing to have them feel. Do I want them to feel like I share stories and ask questions so they can give me their raw truth and be open about what's really coming up so we can help them? That's something for them to feel. Do I want them to feel excited? I'll give them excitement. What do I want them to accomplish? Oh, I can teach them this pretty easy. I can have them go from post 1 to post 2 or post 3. I can have them go from video 1 to a short email sequence where I teach them that content. I can have them go from video 2 to a text message sequence where I deliver it to their phone. I can have these things as wickets in the group that I just guide them to step by step by step to get them to this after state, because I designed this journey that was either for a set amount of time or in this direction to help them. And then once you have given them that, once you have helped them achieve that, what are you going to give them to keep them engaged? I say this all the time, Field of Dreams is bullshit. If you build it, they don't come. And even if they accidentally show up, you have to give them a reason to stay. You have to design the journey. You have to know what it's going to look like. So what is it you want to give your audience? What is it you want to give your customers and potential customers? What is it that feels best to you that you've had the most results with? Is it accountability? Great. Is it connection? Great. Is it wisdom? Great. Is it guidance? Great. Is it content? Great. Is it community? Great. But only you know what that is. That's not dictated by them. Your world, your rules, your container, you put them into it and you deliver the results. And so you have to give people a valuable reason to stay engaged in your group as well. Something they don't get anywhere else, which, by the way, is you. It's your unique gift, your unique spin, your unique paradigm, the way you deliver it, your personality, your energy, the love you put into your product, the intentionality you put into the group. Because when you get somebody into your group, it's not I have another group to consume. What they're thinking is, where am I going to stop going to create space to be here? And if you're just like everybody else, well, guess what? There's no space for you. They'll just have another group on the rocker. You'll have somebody else in your group that never engages, never likes, never comments, because you are competing against the attention of everybody else that's doing it the same, because they haven't taken the time to create this intentionality and to create this wisdom and this journey and this guide to take people through, this duration or direction. They haven't given that all of themselves to this thing. But you can plan this with sticky notes in an hour. And nothing happens in one day. So if I had to give you a bonus tip that I don't really talk about with many people, is stop trying to get everybody to do everything at one time. Stop trying to get everybody to do everything at one time. Give them one thing at a time and spread it out over a couple of days and guide them step by step by step so it doesn't feel overwhelming, so they don't have the thought of like, oh my God, I can't get all this done. Where is this going to fit? I'm going to leave. Guide them, lead them, create momentum, create micro wins, get them excited, give them momentum, get them to do one thing and then have them come back and do another thing. And before you know it, they're habituated into your group. They're showing up consistently. They're getting results and they're associating it with you by being in your group, and they're in your world. They're your raving fans. They're your customers. They're the people that you want because you help them get to the promised land by being intentional about the container that you created. So the easiest way to win with a Facebook group is to treat it like the tightest container that you can lead people with in your world. Design it no differently than you would design a paid product. Or imagine this, and this is what I do. If I said, hey, I have somebody coming up to you and they want to lose 100 pounds. You have 12 months or 6 months or 3 months. Pick something. And I said, you can only give them one thing to do a day in 30 seconds. What would it be? And then what would you give them every day? If you help people with email marketing, what would help them every day? If you help people with social media marketing, what would help them every day? If you have a product that helps with recovery, what would help them every day? If you have a program that helps with tax strategy, what would help them every day? You have to answer these questions, but when you do, simplify the process and make it a lateral customer journey, not a vertical customer journey. Because a vertical customer journey will kill people. They'll come in and you'll get all excited. And you'll be like, I need you to do thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, thing 4, thing 5. And they're like, I can't do any of this. I'm doing nothing. I'm stuck. But if you give them the one thing and you know in your heart that they're safe because you built a tight container, then you get to have consistency and patience, which will always guarantee the results. And so your job is to create the container. Your job is to lead. Your job is to know where they're coming in at and where you're going to take them. Your job is to know, is it duration or direction? Your job is to know once you get them to where you want, what you're going to continue to give them to engage. Accountability, connection, wisdom, guidance, a reason to stay. The way you build your group would be a reason to stay. The way you run your group will be the reason to stay. And I'm going to say this loudly, so hear me. There is zero chance of success with an accidental group. There is zero chance of success with an accidental group. There is 100% guarantee of success with an intentional group. Success might not look like what you think it should, but there's no way to lose this game, and I, for one, love playing win-win games. So look at the journey, design it, build it, create the container in your world, on your rules, that people can step into, that guarantee a positive result in their life, and then build that journey into your group, into your welcome video, into the steps that they give them, into the email sequence that you send them to, into the text sequence to check in for guidance and wisdom, into whatever it is that you want. But I'm going to say it again, it's what you want. You have to design it. Nobody else. You have a gift. You are the lighthouse. Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you what your group should look like. Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you what your leadership style should be. Stop waiting for somebody else to tell you which one of your gifts that you should share, and go look in the mirror and see how fucking amazing you are and realize that you have a gift. And the moment you sit down on paper and you design that journey, you are living in your gift and you are changing the world, and that is the only way to get what you want, which is impact, which will equal income. But nobody else is going to do it but you. You create the container. You create the video. You create the journey, and there is zero way to lose the game. So what if it doesn't work one day? Change it. Design it again. But give yourself the chance to win the game by getting on the field, because you can't win a game that you never start to play. And so don't leave that group dormant. Don't make it a bucket. Don't make it a catch-all. Make it intentional. Make it a journey, and lead people to the promised land. So when you are leasing that land from Facebook, that people get it and they're like, I don't want to lease this anymore. I want to come live in your world. And the only way that happens is if you do what I shared. So before I start yelling anymore, I'm going to wrap this episode. But I'm telling you right now, listen to this, map it out, put it into practice, and absolutely go change the world on that rented land to guide them into your world where you will have them forever. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving if you're listening to this before. I hope you had a beautiful Thanksgiving if you're listening to this after. I will see you guys in the next episode. I absolutely love you all. Have a beautiful day. Now it's time to cue the outro. Bye.